A lot of people going through the marriage green card process think it's all about the paperwork and it's simple. Hey, many times they are successful, but a lot of times they fail. And we're going to go through a detailed example right now where that happened, where it made a big difference. So you can see where the value of having a person who specializes in immigration and focus on that could really help you. Now, this really good looking couple, unfortunately, got caught up, and the foreign national spouse was put in detention. And right now they're trying to get him out, and he's got a very complicated case, unfortunately. It's going to be a very expensive process to hopefully, if possible, fix it up. I'm going to go through the details they share on their GoFundMe page, and I have their GoFundMe page link in the comments below. So if you want to support them in their journey, you can do that. But let's go back into, based on the information provided publicly, what happened. They went to a marriage green card interview based on marriage to U.S. citizen, which typically is supposed to be simple. And the gentleman got picked up there and detained by ICE, and he's being held right now pending a hearing. And they're trying to get the money together to be able to do the bond hearing. So how could they have prevented this? What issues happened? Well, first of all, it seems that gentleman, had a marriage green card case before that had started. Now, that case, a separate case before he met his current wife, ended because they got divorced, separated, and fell apart, and that green card application never, finished and became approved. So first things first is there. He moved after that case stopped. We got divorced, but never updated the immigration department. And this is the first spot right there that most people, 99% of people going through immigration processes, don't know it's against the law not to update your address if you're not a citizen. If you're a visitor, a temporary worker, green card, whoever it is, if you move in the U.S., you have to go and file Form AR-11, maybe online your account, and update your address so the court could send you documents if they need to. Here, they send him a record, a request to come to immigration court. He missed it and got an automatic removal order because of it. So that was something the attorney could have told him, hey, you got to update your address, and we include that in our communications with our clients and let them know. Now, the next problem is that he subsequently got married and filed a new case. Now, ahead of the second marriage, he should have done this. There's an alien number issued. It's your case. It's a number that's attached to you as a foreign person that should have been checked on the immigration law court's website to make sure he doesn't have a case. And knowing that he would have had a case based on his A number, not filed the subsequent case, and instead try to reopen the court case and fix that before starting a new case, because there's no point in a new case. Just waste of time and money and put yourself being detained because the court situation was there. So that's something that would have happened. Additionally, a FOIA request, a Freedom of Information request, should have been done to get a copy of the previous file to see what happened there, what was said there, to avoid inconsistencies and corrections if necessary about the documentation there. And in a long-term perspective, more importantly, documenting that first relationship as much as possible, because most people don't know that if you start a marriage green card case with one spouse, get divorced, and start another one with the second spouse, the immigration department, USCIS, will look into the first relationship. And if they feel like the first relationship, which is done and all that kind of stuff, doesn't meet the requirements, they'll accuse you of fraud there. And it's a 204C finding. Very difficult. It's impossible to fix that. And you're deported out of US and never coming back because of that. So having documentation of that first marriage is strong, and as much as possible. Keeping the records is really important, because we have clients who come to us like this. And once they get divorced, they burn all their documents. They don't want it. They only have weak proof if the government asks for evidence of that first relationship. Again, even though that first relationship is not the basis for the green card. So we always do extra, save these so a client needs it. 1 out of 100 times people do get divorced in these kind of cases, and making sure the documentation is there for access is really important so they can have it for future cases. So then what happened is they went to this new interview without even expecting any of this stuff. And as fortunately happened, the person was detained at the interview. There should have been a prep on that. Should have been better background checks done and focus to make sure these kind of problems were avoided. But unfortunately, they weren't. And now, especially under this administration, they're quickly detaining people, holding them. And it's a bigger, harder fight to be able to get them out. And unfortunately, detention is one of the worst possible experiences. It's like going to jail, sometimes even worse. To be in this situation is very expensive to fix too, but potentially could have been prevented by having an immigration attorney do those checks necessary along the way to protect the client. Now, other things we want to be protective of, information gathered for filing, is what work history was there? What documents did you use to get work? What is the medical history? Have you ever used public benefits? These are all things that could cause denials and more suspicion on the case. Make sure they have their documents. Their birth certificates don't have typos, divorce certificates. We've had people come to us with divorce certificates where the judge forgot to sign it, meaning the divorce was not finalized, and that becomes a big problem. We've had birth certificates from people whose date of birth and name are wrong on there. They didn't notice that until they started the case, and the government pushed back saying your paperwork is inconsistent, your names aren't consistent, and they only noticed that after the fact. So after years of experience, we know this stuff to try to protect you, and that's what immigration attorney does. It's more about the forms. Forms are the least important, easiest part of the thing. It's really about the legal understanding of documents, things that are going to be asked, fraud findings, and prepping and knowing what to look for in a case that the government's going to look for to get you. It's just going to get more and more with the new technology system, AI systems they have. They're going to be much more attention to detail, which means you have to have more backing on your side to protect you as well.